man, Jason Jones of The Athletic. Jason, man, we have all these D'Lo and KC hoodies that are taking over the region, and I want you to know, man, we created a new logo with you 100% in mind. Okay. Dead serious. You were on like a week or two ago, and I think you had like a Raiders hoodie on, or it was something that was silver and black. And I thought, yo, wouldn't it be dope if we had the D'Lo and KC logo in silver and we put it on a black hoodie? When in fact it does look dope, and we posted it on DeLoandKC.com over the weekend. It's the Jason Jones hoodie. That's I'm gonna rename it. Right now it's named Las Vegas Edition. I'm gonna rename it the Jason Jones hoodie.
I thought of Las Vegas Edition, but I'll take credit for it. I'll go ahead and silver and black generally looks good and everything. So
and I'm not no hater. It's fire. It's fire. I like black. I like the color black, man. You know what I'm saying? Obviously I like red too, but I like the color black, man. It's a fire hoodie. I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, I'm in my girlfriend's place, so I got all this red. She's a Delta, so all this red is around me, but generally I'm a blue, purple and gold, silver and black,
Trolling sessions with Jason Jones has begun here on
but you know what though? I just thought about something. And we're going to talk about the Kings. But remember, Jason Jones works at The Athletic. He does cultural stuff. He does a little bit of everything. So he's a good guy to ask. We had a discussion earlier in the show about, pop culture, right? There's pop culture and then there's the culture.
Right.
Pop culture, they get to these games. You see it a lot overseas. You see it in the Northeast. And they play this Sweet Caroline, right? And everybody knows the words, and they belt out the words of the song. I don't even know what the hell that song is, but we know that's their bag. So I asked the question, I said, what would be the culture's version of Sweet Caroline? Now,
before you don't start throwing out suggestions, let the man answer first, and then you can give him your take, which is terrible, and I'll give him mine, which is correct.
No, yours is terrible. David,
mine is not terrible.
No way. That is the
question. I got to think about that. What would be the culture song where everybody, man? See, because
they be out there, bum, bum, bum. They be so excited when that part comes on.
Let me tell him. So maybe he can think and have his own. Here's the thing. I said, you can make the argument that it could be for a certain demographic. If you're about 19 to about 45, it may be Dreams and Nightmares, Meek Mill. It may be that. They go crazy for Dreams and Nightmares. But I said the correct answer is Frankie Beverly and Maze, Before I Let You Go. That is the answer. Yeah. Damian says, what'd you say?
I said, can we talk?
Can we talk? Tevin Campbell?
Yeah. Tevin Campbell, come on. Everybody singing it. Is your girl home? Put Tevin Campbell on the loudest device that you have. Turn it up real loud and see if she come in the room singing it.
See, she might not do that, though, because you see that back in the day, when I made the mistake of telling her that when I was a youngster back in the day, Tevin Campbell was the thing I played for the little girls in 8th grade.
Oh, yeah.
She might be like, I don't want to hear no Tevin Campbell. Who was that girl in middle school you played that for, though? But it's got, I think, if Frankie Beverly and Maze is always going to be up there. I think if you hear Love and Happiness by Al Green, no matter how old you are, you hear that, don't. I think everyone knows that. But yeah, I think for the younger, I think Dreams and Nightmare. I think what did Jay-Z say one time? Meek went to the studio and just had a night. When he recorded that, he just, sometimes you catch one.
Yeah. And I also said, Before I Let You Go, you can get the 21, 20-year-old, 19-year-olds because Beyonce with the remake gave it another.
Well, you could get the 21-year-olds because our parents played it for, well, not ours, but because I'm the parent playing it, but like it's been played everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it's like a rite of passage. At some point, you have been at a Frankie Beverly and Maze show. Even if you didn't intend to be there. What?
I've never been to one. Not a show. I ain't gone to a lot of shows, though.
I think I've been to at least one or two, and I don't know how you just. I think it's like part of life. You have at some point, everyone I know has seen Frankie Beverly and Maze.
The other one that somebody else pointed out, which I think it's on the short list, is Poison Poison might be up there.
That might be that actually might be the one, because it's not just for the culture. Like, you're not going to have a stadium, full of black people. Like, there's going to be other people mixed in there.
Fight. I'm telling you.
But they're going to know it's driving me out of my. Everybody's going to know that part.
Yeah. That's on the list. That's definitely going to be on the list.
That's high. I think that's above Meek Mill. Meek Mill skews. It skews younger, and it like, if it's a basketball game, maybe. Like,
that's all I'm saying. The nightmare drop. Younger, crazy.
I think when the Eagles had their Super Bowl run, that was like the song. Even though the song had been out, that was their song during that run. So it probably gave other people. Because, I mean, I didn't know how big Meek was in Philly until I went to a game after he got out of jail. He came to the game and everyone went crazy. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the West Coast. I'm thinking everybody laughing at this dude because Drake is clowning him. In Philly, different ball game for me. So, but yeah, I still, that's definitely huge. That's definitely huge.
Ooh, that's gonna go crazy.
Let's try to definitely skews younger. I mean, I think when I hear dreams and nightmares, I want to lift weights, or I want to fight, or I have visioned that song in my mind. You play that song in your intro to WrestleMania, and WrestleMania's in Philly.
There you go. Yeah,
I think it's Frankie Beverly and May. So that's gonna get my vote.
By the time WrestleMania gets to Philly, it'll be a 4-night extravaganza.
Well, they're gonna go back to different cities.
WrestleMania 2 gimmick. Live from Philadelphia, Miami, and Los Angeles. WrestleMania 42. Jason Jones of The Athletic with us here on D-Lo and KC. Jason, we always appreciate you being with us. Kings basketball again tonight. Kings and Phoenix, of course. Kings against Phoenix, excuse me. We saw the Kings get a win against them earlier this season. I don't know if you noticed this. Phoenix hasn't lost since Harrison Barnes' shot went in at the buzzer. They've won the next 4. Mm-hmm. Comfortable schedule there for Phoenix, but what do you make of the Kings now 10 games into the season so far?
I like generally their defensive effort. If I pick what I don't like that. I don't think we really still haven't seen DeAaron really be DeAaron yet. I think we've seen a couple more glimpses of it, but then I kind of wonder if maybe just the idea of him averaging 25, 27 a night maybe just be too much to ask. I think maybe we wanted that progression to be like, okay, now it's going to be 25 and 9. It's not going there yet. And maybe this is just kind of where he'll be in that 20 to 24, 25 range. But I do think for this team to get to where they want to be, he can't be like, an 18, 19 guy.
Right.
I like what Harrison's doing. Harrison continues to, do what he did last season. I just wonder if they got enough around him to where you don't have to run Harrison into the ground again. But I like Alex Len. I think that's proven to be a solid addition because you needed another big body to go with Rashawn. And I just think he fits more in terms of just movement more so than Hassan did. I mean, Hassan was cool on one end, but, he's not going to run the way Alex runs. So, I mean, I see a lot of things I like. I mean, 5-5, it's not – I don't think it's terrible at all for them right now. And I do see a lot they can still build on, which to me is a good sign. I mean, we've had seasons with them after 10 games. You go, okay, they're going to win 28 this year. I don't see that with this team. I definitely see them trending in the right direction. No, finally.
Yeah. Another thing about DeAaron, and I guess I'll just keep asking this until somebody gives me the answer that I want. But, I feel like DeAaron, his Kentucky freshman season, in his first 2 seasons in the NBA, there was a level of intensity and fire that came with DeAaron and ferociousness that came with DeAaron Fox out there on the court. And we don't see that anymore. And I don't know if it's as simply as the fact that he's older and, I don't know. Is he older or whatever the case may be? But do you think that potentially affects his play a little bit? How it seems very passive nowadays and very even keeled, which could be a great thing. You know, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but I'd like to see a little more fire from him, man. Do you see a difference in his demeanor from when he was younger into now? And do you think that plays into the way he approaches the game every now and then?
See, I really don't, because outside of his year at Kentucky, one of the things the Kings privately and the coaches have all said was they wanted more fire from him. And I mean, that's been the thing his whole time. I know there were times, even going back to Dave Yeager, where he'd be like, run. I want you to take off. And it's like, just, they're saying we're bringing these other guards in because we want you to be frenetic. Go, go, go. And there's times where DeAaron just didn't do that for whatever reason. I know even last season when Tyrese was hurt, he said he would notice that, maybe DeAaron needed some help because he wasn't pushing it, the way that they would like to. So I would think that, I don't know if it's anything different. I just think this is just the way he is, personality wise. He's not going to be the big rah, yell, slap the bench because things aren't going. That's just not him. Like that presser he did last week where he's like, yeah, I know if I'm playing bad, I ain't got to go home and worry about it. I know I play bad. That's 100% authentically DeAaron Fox. Because I've talked to him away from the cameras. And he'll be like, yeah, I know I'm playing bad. What do you want me to do? But I'm not going to sit around and, go home, be around my family sad because I had a bad game. That's just how he is. And I just think that, there's just some, adjustments still going on. You're still figuring out, and it's not just him. I think we expect more of him. I don't think we've seen the best of Tyrese yet. We've seen glimpses of it. I actually think probably the most consistent couple of guys have probably been Harrison and Buddy. And they're also two of the on the older end. I get that Rashawn as well. I don't want this Rashawn. I was talking about the guards, but Rashawn too. Right. But they're also guys who are older. I mean, and yeah, this is year 5 from DeAaron, but I think we're still probably going to see some moments where he's looking like he's still figuring it out all the way. So I wouldn't say that he doesn't have the fire. I just think that the way he is, his personality, he's never going to be that guy where, I'm trying to think, if you contrast him to a guy like, like Buddy, who's just constantly going, he's not going to be that guy. But DeAaron does care. But I think they also would love to see him, as somebody once told me, turn it on more. Don't pick and choose your spots. Turn it on, keep it on. Yeah. And that's been a criticism and a critique from the organization for a while with him. Just we want to see that more. And it's because I think what makes it tough is that we've seen him do it. Like those 4th quarters that he had last season, you go, oh my God. But where was this guy for the first 3 quarters? Yeah. Can we get that guy who was player of the week, 3 of the 4 weeks in the month? Yeah. So I mean, that's just going to be the thing. And I think when you compare the Kentucky year, I think I don't know what Cal does to those guys, but they're afraid of Cal. I mean, DeMarcus, when I talked to him about, he's like, man, you don't mess with Cal. He said, DeMarcus told me Cal told him, you are not allowed to shoot beyond 15 feet. Pretend there's like a chain or something attached, like a rope attached to you. And if you get past 15 feet, you are not allowed to shoot. And he did it. Wow. So yeah, I just think Cal was Cal had DeAaron turning guys defensively constantly, and it was Cal. But I just think I don't know. It's a weird thing because, like I said, when you see it, you go, wow, it's amazing. But it kind of goes back to that notion. I talked to some people in the league who feel like maybe DeAaron really is better suited to be a number 2. Maybe, he can if he's going to be your number 1, you need a strong voice with him. And what you've had, I think Harrison's a strong presence, but he's not going to be that shake him up guy. I think that's why when Amon Shumpert was in town, Amon worked just because Amon didn't care. He was going to say what he was going to say. And they went so extreme to we got to get nice guys. It was like Dave would always say, I got a ton of nice guys on this team. And he didn't mean that as a compliment.
Right. Yeah.
But every time Yeager would say, they're such nice guys, I'd be like, oh God, he's just digging at them. But they're so nice. Do they even care?
Right.
So I just think you've got a better mix of that. And it's just, I think we're just waiting for DeAaron to take off again. And I think, I believe it's going to happen. I can't tell you when. Like I said, we've seen glimpses of it. It's just going to take a little time. And are getting comfortable playing with Tyrese more because, like I said, in last week, Tyrese was balling at the end of last year. He didn't have DeAaron with him because even yesterday, that last shot, it's like, is that the shot you want? So I think there's still obviously things they're trying to figure out and sort out. And 10 games in, I think they're still in a good place.
Well, I'll ask Matt George tomorrow.
You're gonna get that answer from someone.
I'm waiting for that. You're exactly right, Casey. I saw the same thing.
He's gonna start texting people. Hey, listen.
You should have texted me before the show. Here's what I want you to say about DeAaron. Someone's going to agree with me on this. And I just remember, especially when he was a rookie, I always even tell Dave, hey, whenever his hair was flying backwards, that fro was going back, you knew he was in go mode. But there were a lot of times where that hair wasn't going back like that. He wasn't, looking like that video game. So it's going to be a thing. I just think because his personality is such where he's not going to be out there going crazy. So it's going to drive people who watch him crazy.
You'll get there, Kenny. Good luck. Good luck on your venture, buddy. It's a 49ers Monday.
Cash App, hit the Venmo, and maybe next week I'll have something different to say. Like I thought about it, and you're right.
Jason goes, hey, I really want to come on the show today. I gotta amend one of my
I've been
answers.
moved to say something different than I said the other day.
20, 40, 60. I feel differently about how I felt yesterday.
It's a 49ers Monday brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore, but you get more Kings talk here with D'Lo and KC and Jason Jones of The Athletic. You brought his name up there a moment ago. Buddy Hield. Not to be funny, because I didn't expect this, but the Lakers have to be killing themselves right now, aren't they?
They won't be, but I think a lot of us thought that would have been the perfect spot for Buddy and for them. It's because, God, they're hard to watch. I mean, as good as Russ can be, when you've got Russell Westbrook taking 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, it's just like, ugh.
Yeah,
it's just like, I understand why they would do that. Because if you're, GM LeBron, do I want Buddy or do I want my buddy Russ? Give me Russ, and then, but that deal cost them a lot in terms of defense. I think that they can work on that, but you lose KCP, who was, probably a very underrated defender. You don't re-sign Caruso. Taylor Horton-Tucker, he's back at practice now, but you haven't had him all year. You get Avery Bradley back, that helps, but they're just it hasn't been pretty for them. Just hasn't. They go through these stretches where they don't want to play defense.
Yeah,
and is Buddy working so well because of the bench role? Because he's having a great season so far.
I think so. I think the numbers bear out. He's a much better player off the bench. I know he doesn't like coming off the bench, but look at the numbers and his time in Sacramento. He's a much better player he's a much more efficient player as a bench player. And that's just kind of this is the way he works. And everyone I talk to around the league says the same thing. If Buddy Hield is coming off your bench, you might have a decent team. If you're playing Buddy Hield 35 minutes and starting him, it's probably not the best thing for you. But I think that bench role, ideally on any team, if you've got, like I said, Buddy Hield as your sixth man, I'll take that. His shots tend to be maybe a little bit better. I don't think you can maybe pair him with different guys, but you look at as a bench player under Dave Yeager, as a bench player under Luke Walton, the better Buddy is the Buddy off the bench.
Yeah. Another guy that we're starting to see kind of find his voice and kind of find the way that he wants to play and lead this team, I feel, is Tyrese Haliburton. He had a great fourth quarter last night in the loss against the Pacers. He was diming everything up on Friday night against Charlotte, and then Wednesday he had what a lot of people thought was his best game of the season against the Pelicans. Is he starting to find his groove? We talked about DeAaron getting in the comfort zone with playing with Tyrese. On the flip side, is Tyrese seemingly starting to find his comfort zone with being the starting two guard and finding his spots to be aggressive on the offensive end? Because it sure seems like it.
Yeah, I think he's just going out there and just playing, not worried about who's the point, who's the lead guard. Just keep going out there and playing. And some of those drives reminded me of that guy, that nickname that I refused to actually.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Little Magic.
He's had some magic-like moments with the way he drives to the. I can't call him Little Magic. I can't call him Little Magic.
Magic called him Little Magic.
Magic says a lot of things that he shouldn't say. And I love Magic, but I'm not going to go over everything he says. But I think you're starting. I think, like I said, all these guys are going to figure it out. There's a lot of smart guys on this team. They're going to figure it out. And I think you're starting to see Tyrese get more comfortable. Was the shot yesterday at the end probably what you wanted? I don't know, but he took the shot. And I think if you get guys who are willing to step up, I'd rather have too many guys who want to be in there in the big moment than not enough. And I think Tyrese is going to end up being a big moment type guy. So I like the way he's been playing overall lately, and I just think you got to get everybody to start doing it at the same time. Right now, it's like Harrison's off to a great start. DeAaron's struggling. Then this guy gets better. The other guy doesn't. So I think if you get everyone going, I think they'll be fine. I think the more you see Tyrese handle on the ball, I think that'll make DeAaron better, similar to how a couple of years ago when Bogey was starting with him, and Bogey kind of said, let me run some things and let you get going. So I think they can kind of figure out that balance. I think Tyrese will keep playing well. He looks better defensively, which everyone expected he would after, a rookie season and some time in the weight room. So I really like what I see from him overall.
You mentioned defense. Is it time together, or the buzzword for the offseason, continuity, coaching, personnel? Like, the team is noticeably better defensively. They're not great. They're just below average. They're not awful. But they've shown signs of being better defensively, which is why I think they've been in the 5 games that they've lost. Mm-hmm. Is that a personnel thing? Is it Luke Walton? A combination of all the above?
It's a little bit of all. Part of it being you can't be any worse than they were last year. I mean,
that's statistically correct.
It'd almost be impossible to be worse. I do think definitely some of it's personnel. Some of it's definitely coaching. I mean, last season they came in with the idea of having all these different schemes. They had to strip all that down. And I talked to some scouts around the league about what was going on. They're telling me stuff like the stuff they're trying to run, those guys just can't do. They just can't do it. So they had to try to strip it down. By then, they were so bad, it didn't really matter what you ran. They couldn't guard anybody. But I do think, you add a Davion Mitchell, you add a mobile big like Alex to go behind Rashawn. You have Mo Harkless to start the year. I think Tyrese being better defensively helps. I think Buddy being better helps. They're not playing Marvin a lot, which also helps, because that was a big problem they had last year, was that teams would just pick on him. And there was no way to hide him. So I just think all those things together. So I guess that also goes to coaching, that you say, you know what? A year ago, when you're in a situation where you're saying we're going to play, Marvin, even if Bielitsa might be a better fit. This year, there seems to be more focus on, we got to win games. We don't have time to wait around and play these games of let's develop a guy, but also try to win. They're trying to win. So I think it all kind of works together, and definitely the personnel helps, because I mean, last year I felt bad for my man Corey Joseph. He out there trying he's trying. And he's got a bunch of guys looking at him like, what are you doing? Now you got to say Tyrese is a year older, And I think we really, I joked about it on Twitter after the Phoenix game. People thought I was, kind of laughing. Like, got to give Buddy a lot of credit, because Buddy went from unwatchable on defense. I mean, It was just embarrassing from time for Buddy on defense. And just to see the improvement, which you normally don't see from a guy his age. Normally a guy almost 30, he is what he is.
Yeah.
That's a testament to Buddy and his work ethic and his desire to say, you know what, if this is going to keep me on the court, I need to get better at it, because he also knows too, Luke will sit him.
Right.
He's got options. He can say, hey, I can go Tyrese, Davion, DeAaron, you're out the game. So I think, when you have a little more depth, the coach has a little more license to say, you know what? No, we're not going to do this tonight. So I think all that together helps. And like you said, they're a little below average, but with the way they can score most nights, if they were just not terrible, they'd make the play-in last year. I mean, if they just weren't historically terrible, they probably win 5-6 more games.
Yeah. Jason, I know you're going to keep it a stack. I know you're going to tell me if I'm jumping out the window with this one, but I kind of feel this way. I feel that if this particular Kings team, that I think is a very solid team, tough-minded team, tough physically, there's a great energy, great vibes around what's going on between the coaches and the player, all this other stuff. I think they're a good, solid team. If DeAaron Fox gets in the vicinity of what we believe he is, he doesn't have to be 28 like he did last year at the end of the season, none of that. But if he's like 24 a night, 7-8 assists, I really believe that this team playing is the floor. I think this is a team that could be, I know 7 is still the play-in, but like be in that situation where it's like 6-7 could make the outright playoffs right away. I'm really impressed by what I've seen this team do so far early in the season, but just the way they go about business. I think if DeAaron showed up the way we thought he could, this could be a 6 seed type team. What you think?
I don't know if they get to 6. I think they can be in the mix. I think they can definitely be in the mix to where it's like they're not, scraping at 10, where you're saying, okay, they're in that 6 to 8 range. I don't think that's unforeseen or impossible. And I've been saying that since last season. I'm thinking they can crack the top 10. And if you see DeAaron take off a little more, if Harrison continues to play the way he's played, I think they can definitely be in there, because you're going to have injuries. Who knows how the Lakers are going to look, in a month or two. Who knows what the Clippers are going to do? There's going to be a lot going on. Yeah. So I definitely think they've got a shot at it if they can just, to me, stay committed to defending, because more nights than not they're going to score. But you just can't go out there and give up 120. That streak last year was like 7-8 games of giving up 120 plus.
Come on, man, how does that even happen?
I mean, you can't be a turnstile on a layup line out there, So I think if they can just defend at a halfway decent rate and continue to build on that, I'm not going to go 6 seed, but top 8 is definitely doable. But I'll say, ask me around Christmas, because teams like to fool you this time of year. Some of the older teams kind of ease into it. Some of these young guns jump out and look really good, and then by January we're talking about who's playing in the NCAA tournament with those guys. So I'm going to give it a little time. I really don't get too tied in till Christmas. So we got about 5 weeks of basketball or so before we really know, who's going to fit where. But I think I don't think the Kings are a terrible team at all. I really don't. I mean, when I watch them play, when I see how they interact, when I hear what the guys are saying, I don't think they're a bad team. Are they a 50-win team? No, but they definitely should not be at that bottom of the West where we're going, okay, we're counting down the days that are mathematically eliminated in March. That would be a disappointment for this team.
Very much so.
So 49ers Monday brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore, but we're talking Kings here with Jason Jones of The Athletic. Do the Kings have an identity?
I think they're still crafting it.
Yeah.
I think they know what they want to be defensively, and it's just weird hearing them talk about their defensive identity, because for years I'd be like, okay, well, what is it? Because we sure don't see it, but you're starting to see it now. I think it takes time, but I think part of it is the continuity. Some of these guys have been together 3-4 years now, so you know some of these guys now. This is your 3rd year with Rashawn. This is Buddy and DeAaron's fourth year together at least.
Yeah.
So these guys all know. You're building some continuity. So I think they're starting to get an identity. I think offensively, we've all know what they want to be. They want to be up tempo, up and down the court, shoot a ton of threes, for better or worse. And sometimes it's for worse, but you know what they want to be offensively. The big question has always been, what are you trying to be defensively other than a turnstile?
Yeah.
And so I think you're starting to see that. I think Davion definitely helps with that, because when you put Davion on the court, I know we talked about it at the opener, he doesn't die on screens. He, and a lot of the, just something minor like that just tells you about his level of effort. A lot of guys go out there, get screened, and go, okay, it's over. And I think when you have a guy out there doing that, you can't help but to say, you know what, we can't go out that. You can't go out like that. So I think you're starting to see the beginnings of a team that wants to be tough defensively. Alex Lynn helps that. Tristan Thompson helps that. So I think you're now that you've infused some of that veteran toughness into those young guys, it's starting to, you're starting to see some of those guys, a guy like Tyrese is picking up on stuff. And like I said, it's crazy. But yeah, Davion has been a big part of that too, because I can't think of the last time I thought about a rookie and said, yeah, his impact on defense is going to help the team.
Yeah.
Jason, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping on as always. Thanks for the inspiration behind it.
It was a rough football day for both of us.
Football. What we even talking about? I ain't even talking.
I know my team took an L in New York, but yeah, y'all got beat by like they brought their preseason, game number 2 starting lineup out.
Right. Who the hell asked you, Jason?
Y'all were.
I didn't know Colt McCoy still played football.
Dude, that's wild. He
I was like, McCoy? Is that Colt McCoy?
11 years. That dude's been in the league 11 years.
Didn't he play his thing was he played in a national championship game and he hurt his shoulder and had to come out against it. Wasn't that him?
Yeah.
I honestly did not know Colt McCoy was still around. I had no idea. I was like, Colt McCoy is still in the NFL.
The Cardinals didn't know he was still around.
They looked around and go, oh man, Kyler's hurt. Hey, who are you? Hey, they thought he was a quality control coach or something. They're like, what are you doing in here?
Hey, I'm Colt. I'm your quarterback.
Give me your clip. Here, take this visor off and here's a helmet. We need you to beat the Niners. They can't beat anybody right now.
Damn.
22 of 26, man. And y'all were in position. You had it. Y'all were right there to at least tie the game, but weird day in the NFL yesterday.
Yeah, weird day, but my high school and college, Deshaun, Long Beach Poly's in the building. All you need to just go deep, Deshaun. Take the top off the defense 2 or 3 times a game.
Hey, man, speaking of your college, come on, man.
Hey, man, you
got in Arizona do that, man.
I have no words, even though I know half the team was in. I have no words. I haven't watched the full Cal football game since they lost to, where'd they go? Was it TCU who beat them?
Yeah, it was TCU.
I haven't watched it. I just can't. It just hurts. It really hurts. I'm like, to be getting text by the 2 Arizona grads I know, or the 3 of them. How did you lose to us? We don't care if you had walk-ons playing. We're terrible.
Damn.
I mean, to get that, what do you say? I just had to hold the L. I couldn't say anything.
That's all you got to. That's all you can do.
Well, at least you got Aaron Rodgers to represent Cowboys. So that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, he's from Chico. He's from Butte College.
My bad.
We've given him back to Butte. We have given Joe Rogan's friend to Butte College. Him and all his records are now with Butte. We don't. God. Yeah. We're going to assume he's part of the guys who didn't go to class.
There you go. That's a fair assessment.
Most of our guys go to class. Marshawn's not like that. No, clearly Aaron hung out with the wrong people because, God, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah.
Oh, that's a bad element. Aaron Rodgers hung around a bad element.
That's
Jason,
Joe Rogan's friend, not mine.
We appreciate you, bro. Thanks as always.